So, who would like to start?
The Falcon and the Winter Soldier is the next MCU series hitting Disney+. It begins on March 19th, a mere 2 weeks after the ending of WandaVision. The series will see the return of fan favorites Sam Wilson and Bucky Barnes following the events of Avengers Endgame, which saw the official retirement of Steve Rogers and the mantle of Captain America being handed over to Sam. With the series just around the corner, let's go back and make sense of all the information we have regarding the show, from what characters will show up, what locations we may see, and how the show will factor into the MCU going forward. To start with the obvious, the show will be centered around the two title heroes of Sam Wilson, aka Falcon, and Bucky Barnes, aka the Winter Soldier. The last time we saw these two heroes was at the end of Avengers Endgame, when an old Steve Rogers retired the mantle of Captain America to Sam Wilson. Trailers have hinted that the show will feature some sort of power struggle over the title, as Sam struggles to live up to the legacy of the original Captain America.
The legacy of that shield is complicated.
The opposite end of that power struggle comes with the character of John Walker, aka US Agent, played by Wyatt Russell, who is the government-selected replacement for Captain America. In the comics, he was selected as Cap because the government didn't think that the world was ready for a black Captain America. Will the MCU do that? Probably not. It's more likely that the government believes that they own Captain America and have full authority to pick whoever they please to wield the shield, and they want to pick someone who did not go against the Sokovia Accords. But the shield does not make the hero, and that's why Cap gave it to Falcon. Also, if you're enjoying this video so far, please take 2 seconds to hit the subscribe button and help us grow our channel. As we all know, Falcon refused to sign the Sokovia Accords and helped Cap and Bucky go against the government and hunt down Zemo and the other Winter Soldiers, resulting in Sam and Bucky becoming wanted criminals, just like Steve Rogers. The Sokovia Accords were just mentioned in episode 5 of WandaVision, when SWORD acting director Tyler Hayward labeled Wanda Maximoff as a terrorist who disobeyed the Sokovia Accords, meaning they did not become irrelevant after Civil War and Infinity War. The Accords are something that will affect the MCU for years to come, and the government probably doesn't want a war criminal as Captain America. Another criminal is Sharon Carter, as confirmed by a t-shirt that was recently revealed. In Captain America Civil War, Sharon was responsible for smuggling Team Cap's gear out of the government facility and giving it to them, making her just as much a criminal as everyone on that team. The fallout of Civil War, Infinity War, and Endgame is shaping to be a major factor in the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and how every character, especially the heroes, will deal with that. And for every hero, there is a villain, or in this case, villains. The confirmed villain roster for this show is insane. Aside from US Agents, the pair of heroes will find themselves dealing with a handful of villains. The first and most well-known of which is Helmut Zemo. Zemo being in the show is huge. After all, he is the one who broke the Avengers, framed Bucky as a killer, and set up Cap and Iron Man to kill each other. Zemo can be seen in the trailer and in set photos, leading Sam and Bucky through the city of Madripoor, alluding to a possible team-up, meaning there's a villain in the show who is worse than the man who killed the King of Wakanda, brainwashed the Winter Soldier, and destroyed the Avengers, causing a major reason for how Thanos won in Infinity War. But before we get into Zemo's involvement in this show, and who could be worse than him, let's take a look at the city we just mentioned, Madripoor. Madripoor is a made-up city in Marvel that is off the coast of Singapore. It's filled with both rich and poor, which is why the trio seems to be walking through a poorer-looking part of town, and there are skyscrapers not far past the region that they're walking through. In the comics, Madripoor is associated with Wolverine, and at one point was revealed to be on the back of a dragon that was awakened by the Hand. This is a big deal. With Disney now owning the X-Men, Madripoor could be more than just a nod. Maybe there are mutant references, and they leave it open to return to this place later when the X-Men are in the MCU. And anyone who has watched the Marvel Netflix shows is familiar with what the Hand is. They are a group of ninjas who have been around since the 16th century and have learned the ability to resurrect people. This is what they did to Elektra at the start of the Defenders. The Hand were villains in Daredevil Season 2, Iron Fist, and the main villains in the Defenders. Marvel might have a small setup for both the Netflix characters and the X-Men that they can return to later should they feel like it. Now, back to talking about Zemo. Zemo is responsible for the formation of a few different groups in the comics. He is the leader of one of the Masters of Evil groups, and he is also a member of the Thunderbolts, sometimes using the alias Citizen V. The Masters of Evil is an awesome group of villains who find themselves often in conflict with the Avengers, the Thunderbolts, and the Guardians of the Galaxy. But hints throughout the MCU point to the Thunderbolts likely being Zemo's next path in the MCU instead of the Masters of Evil. But that is a video for another time. Is Zemo the main villain of the show though? Definitely not. An alliance with Zemo is 100% temporary, and they need his help with something. But who is the main villain? Well, that is a more difficult question. The simple answer is Aaron Kellyman's character, but that requires talking about the group known as the Flag Smashers that will be in the show. In the comics, Flag Smasher is a character who uses terrorism to spread anti-nationalist sentiment. Pretty much the exact opposite of Captain America. The MCU has changed this character into a group led by Aaron Kellyman's character. Some people think that Aaron Kellyman will play the character of Flag Smasher and the group will be named after her, but reports are serving up different information. Kellyman may instead be playing the villain turned hero, Songbird. Reports claim that Kellyman was seen on the Atlanta set with Georges St. Pierre, who plays the character of Batroc the Leaper, another returning character who was the person Captain America fought at the start of the Winter Soldier. In the scene, Kellyman's character appeared to use a power that controlled all the surrounding civilians and drew them closer to her, in what seemed to impress Batroc. All of this should be taken with a grain of salt as it is only a report, but this power lines up perfectly with the character of Songbird, and in the comics, she left the Masters of Evil and joined the Thunderbolts. Further proof that either one or both of these groups will be assembled in some way later on. There is one last character to talk about. The Young Avengers are coming to the MCU. One of that team's members is the character of Patriot. For information on him, as well as other members of the team in the comics, as well as the MCU, go check out our 2-part video on Marvel's Young Avengers. Elijah Richardson is rumored to play Patriot, who is a character with a connection to Captain America, making a perfect candidate to play in this giant Captain America playground the show will explore. Also, a quick note, War Machine was confirmed to be in the show, but there's not any information or clues as to what way he factors in or how big his role is, so besides his name, we did not talk about War Machine in this video. But it is worth noting that Don Cheadle has confirmed that War Machine will factor into the show in some way. One last thing worth mentioning. It has been confirmed that the next Captain America will be named by the time the show ends, and while that is most likely Sam Wilson, it will still be worth watching to see how the next Captain America lives up to the legacy of the original and takes on the mantle into the future of the MCU. So, if you've enjoyed this video, please make sure to hit the like button and help us out by subscribing to our channel. And go check out our 2-part video series on Marvel's Young Avengers. Thanks for watching.